Great. Welcome, everyone. Good evening to today's open discussion. And today's topic is why cannot I be positive for long? So, we are going to delve into the topic of positivity and why it can sometimes be hard to sustain for a lot of us. And we're going to see this in different aspects and from different angles. So, as all of you are already aware of how these open conversations go, so I'll just directly get into the topic. So, as today's topic is why I cannot be positive for long. So, let's talk a little bit about why being positive is important. Hmm. So, um, as we all are aware that when we talk about the law of attraction, law of vibration, law of mirroring, law of reflection, all of these things, when we talk about the metaphysical laws, our outside reality is just simply the reflection of our inside reality. What consists of our inside reality? Our thoughts, our emotions, our body, the energetic system. So basically, all the different elements that make us entity, a human entity, all of these things, whatever is happening inside us, the whatever way we are vibrating, the same kind of outside reality is created. Mm. So being positive is in that way very crucial, very important because the way we vibrate, who we are, is what is reflected outside in our outside environment. So that being said, that's why being positive is important. Mm. Apart from that, even if we don't talk about the metaphysical laws or the spiritual laws, as we say, as humans, it's very basic. It's a very basic component of being human is that all of us naturally want to be happy. Mm. That's the that's just the basic of our want, because no matter how much money we want to have or whatever desires that we want to achieve in our life, whatever we want to bring into our lives, we want to bring all of those things in our lives because we feel or we think that they're going to make us happy. So uh, that's just our human nature, and that's what probably we are here to experience now. As we have understood why positivity is important, we also need to understand what positivity or what happiness is, what it really means to be happy. So, um, a lot of times we delve into this thing where, we get into the cycle of toxic positivity, where it's like love and light, be happy all the time, be positive all the time, think positive all the time, and all of those things. While all of these things are true, all of these things hold importance, but mm, when we do all of these things or start practicing this kind of positivity where we kind of reject, suppress, neglect, deny, disown, disregard um, our inner parts, our different splits, as we talk about, different parts of us, different inner childs that we have, different kinds of wounds, traumas, conditionings, limiting patterns, limiting beliefs, all of these things that we have. And rather than actually treating them, rather than actually focusing on them and resolving them at the root level, when we try to mask all of those things with the help of all of these spiritual tools, techniques, psychology tools and techniques, all of these things, and we start telling ourselves that, oh, I need to be positive, I need to be positive all the time, then it falls in the territory of toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing. Hmm? Now, both of these things, what I'm talking about, that first I talked about the metaphysical laws, which says that like attracts like. And secondly, I'm talking about toxic positivity. So both of these things appear to be contradictory in nature, but are they really contradictory in nature? Hmm? So that's what we are going to talk about today. That's the first thing. Secondly, um, as all of you are connected with us, all of the people who have joined the call today, you guys have been connected with us. A lot of you already have done, some or the other kind of different healing work with us. Or I'm pretty sure if you guys have done the work with us, you have pretty much read a lot of books, worked on your self-awareness levels, worked on understanding yourself, knowing yourself better, and so on and so forth. Hmm? The second major important thing that we are going to talk about today is that once we have done this kind of work and we are um, working at the level of rewiring or reframing or redesigning how our subconscious works, how our energy works, how our mind and emotions at a deeper level works. We already are on the journey of doing all of these things, and we know that it's important for us that we affirm differently, speak differently, we use the power of word, and have a different kind of self talk with ourselves, have a different kind of communication with us. When we already are aware of all of these things, and yet we try it for some days and then it fizzles out or it vanishes or it just disappears. Hmm? So that's the major topic that we are going to talk about today. Hmm? And this is something which is very common. This is also not a very layman or basic level topic that we are talking about today. This is a advanced level stuff, because for us to talk about this thing, even to delve into this topic, it's important that we have a little bit of understanding and experiential level understanding of this particular thing, so that we can dig deeper and see where exactly are we getting stuck. Why is it becoming an issue for us to think differently, speak to ourselves differently, so on and so forth. Mhm. So I'm happy that all the people I can see on who are here today, um, we know all of you, and you guys have done this kind of work before. So great. And this is also a very common thing. It's not something which happens to some of us, doesn't happen to others. It happens usually to most people who are on this journey. Hmm? Okay. Okay. So let me start with sharing my own story, my own experience of how this has been for me. So for me, it was basically the other way around. When I started my journey, I was um, I came into contact with all of this knowledge, all of this information, that how vibrations, how energies, how these laws actually work out in real life scenarios. So that was my first contact with all of these things, with particularly as per today's topic, positivity. Hmm? And I got some really nice tools and techniques, and I started using all of these things as well. And I didn't know before that, as I had a very toxic childhood. I was personally a very toxic, negative person as a child, till the age probably till I was 17 and a half. And of course, the way I was the same thing which was reflecting for me in my outside environment. So, very, toxic kind of a childhood. Um, very less number of friends, nobody in the family with whom I could feel connected, nothing doing. So all days were passing just crying and just complaining and cribbing about things, and life was a blame game. And then I got came into contact with all of these things, and when I started practicing all of these things, I definitely started seeing a lot of shifts in my life. Mm. And I also manifested a lot of things in the behavior of people in my environment. Out of nowhere, it just started changing. It just started changing because I had started seeing myself differently. And I had very much gotten very clear with this thing that the world is going to perceive me in the way I perceive myself. So, what I think about myself, the way I deal with myself, the way I behave with myself is how the world is going to look at me and how they are going to perceive me. And I started seeing some results, things started changing for me, and so on and so forth. Hmm? But then I had no awareness, or I had no understanding of what else was missing in this picture, right? So I just got to an idea that maybe in case I start thinking positively and I start, showing this kind of self love to myself and all that, everything's gonna change. And it did to a certain extent, until and unless I was taken out of my comfort zone. Mm. And I was taken out of my comfort zone. I was going through different kind of struggles. I was doing CA at that point of time, so I was trying really hard, really, really hard to apply all of these things. But the moment something crucial, something triggering, something bad would come in the picture, I would no longer be able to hold on to all of these positive thinking things and all that. Mm. And I started falling back into the old patterns, and that happened many, many times over and over again because the outside environment, until and unless the situation was hunky dory and everything was going fine, it was okay for me to practice gratitude, practice letting go, practice all the self care activities, thinking positive, and all that. Um, that was fine, but the moment something went wrong, something challenging, conflicting, problematic in relationships, especially, or in career, especially in these two areas when they come up, I would lose all of these things and I'll fall back in the old patterns. Because nobody had told me at that point of time that वहां भी काम करना जरूरी है, वहां भी देखना जरूरी है, right? And it appears completely counterintuitive if somebody at that point of time came to me and said that, oh, you need to look at your wounds and heal them. I was totally um, not in contact with these words also. And then it went on, went on, went on, and then after many, many years, I got a chance to come out of these things, and I came in touch with people who were doing, these kind of work, maybe parts work, mirror work, integration work, and NLP, or people who were doing inner child healing, and so on and so forth. And then I started doing that kind of a work where I had to see all of these issues that were going through, that were happening in my life. And I started taking up this journey from a different direction, going deeper and cleaning all the stuff that I had left behind. But then, even after I had done all of those work, all of that kind of work, I would still fall back into the same pattern again and again and many a times. Of course, the story remains the same, that you get triggered and something wrong happens in your life, and then you are again back in the same cycle. So, when you are positive, when you are in a good environment, when you are in a nice things are happening to you, everything is going according to how you want it, it's all fine. It's very easy to be mindful at that point of time, but it's really hard to be mindful when things are not going the way you want. Mm. And I'm really grateful that all of these things occurred in my life. They still occur in my life when things go wrong, or things don't go according to how I want them. But then today I can say that I see them as an opportunity to look at something which maybe is still left to be seen, maybe is still left to be incorporated, maybe still left to be healed and brought back into awareness. So that's how the journey went on for me. Now, when from my experience, if I have to say that these things are counterintuitive, and yes, of course they are, because why would anybody would want to see their wounds and traumas? Doesn't that mean that that's what you're gonna attract? But the whole point was that when you are looking at all of these things, because all of these things are there, they don't disappear, they don't go anywhere, they stay in your system, they have been accumulated, imprinted in your system, right? And uh, the moment you're triggered, the moment you're shown the mirror, there's no way literally to force ourselves to be positive at that point of time, because even if we do so, there is a subconscious inside us that tells us, you're not there. You don't fool yourself. Don't try to fool me. I know that it's not over. I know that you're still hurting. I know that you're still in pain. I know that this is what you actually think, and you're just trying to, mask it up by words. Hmm? So, when you are in a situation where something like this comes in front of you, when something like these come in front of me, I realize that the best kind of positivity that I can bring is the positivity of awareness, is the positivity of being observant, being aware of whatever it is that I need to see. Mm? And when I'm aware of it, when I'm compassionate, when I allow myself to feel, allow myself to see the thoughts that I'm thinking, allow myself to process all of these things, it requires a lot of acceptance, a lot of compassion, a lot of um, patience, right? So there are two things happening over there. One way is to practice all of these things by tools and techniques and all that. But when you are in this that space where you are in that dark space, the shadow space, the negative space, the best kind of self-work, positivity that we can do practice at that point of time is to observe. And observe, not just merely observe. Observe with non-judgment, without trying to label things as good or bad, just being with yourself and allow all of these things to show in front of you, acknowledge and support all of these little parts of you who were not seen before. Hmm? So that's why it's actually not counterintuitive in nature. Hmm? And no matter how much we try really, really hard to practice all the positive things in the world, the subconscious, the energy system, all the things that we have inside us that are accumulated inside us, they we know the truth. The core part of us knows the truth, and it will pull us back. Hmm? So that's where it's like having a room full of garbage and trying to put beautiful lights and chandeliers over there. But then for us to clean that room, we first need to clean the garbage. Mm. So, underlying wounds, underlying traumas, underlying past issues, until and unless all of these things were not seen for me, until and unless I had not developed courage and readiness enough to see all of these things, it was getting really, really hard for me to practice positivity. And I will not say that I have now become a person who's positive all the time, who is never feeling all of these things, never getting down the track, never falling back again. Now I have reached that place. No, no way for me to say that by like from certainty. But the only way for me to figure out to keep myself under check or to test myself is when things go all wrong in life. And at that point of how do I see myself? Do I get into the cycle of blaming myself, blaming or criticizing other people, criticizing the situation? Or I'm able to observe it, acknowledge it, and acknowledge the harsh emotions which are coming up at that point of time, no matter how bad they feel, but observing all of those things, allowing all of those things, and yet keeping hold, keeping my 2 feet on ground to see that, these things come and they pass. Mm. And all of these things come in our life to show us something, show us the mirror, tell us something about ourselves. So that's what positivity means for me, right? And I'm just sharing how it has been according to my experience, and in no ways I can say that this would be 100% true for all the people all around, and this is how it has to be. But at a human level, for most people, as I can see from my experience and from the kind of people I communicate with, and I've seen, this holds true. Mm. So that was my story. That was my experience, particularly with this topic. Now, anything in this story that you guys resonate with? Have you gone through something like that I have gone through?
Yes, Anamika.
Hmm. Would you like to share a little bit more about your story, Sonam?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so like, okay, so 5 years back, one of my relationship was like it ended, and then at that point of time, I got into depression. I was not well and everything. I was going into stress and depression. That is when I started going to that is when I got introduced to this world of spirituality, and I started meditating. I started attending this I was going to some art of living classes and all. So that is when I started doing all of this. Later I got to know about other things inner child healing, family constellation, and also I have done all of that. And then I thought that I was in good space. So I thought now I'm like I can face the world. And um one more thing was there was some I was doing some affirmations, some speech words, just to get that person back. All of this I was doing. After some time I thought I let it go of the idea of also that person will come back. So I stopped doing affirmations and this speech words. But I was positive. I thought that I know everything now. I have done my healing, and now the next person I would be attracting would be as per my it would be in alignment with my thoughts and my vibrations or whatever. But then I met the another person. Everything was good for some time, and within 8 months that relationship did end. So again I went back into for some time I was into lot of uh, I was in stress. I was depressed. And again I thought that I have done all this work. Why these things are coming back? Like, how could not I recognize these things? So that is when I realized maybe I was searching for someone from a point of view of I am not whole. So I was searching someone maybe, and there was some lack of something inside me, and I wanted the other person to fulfill that lack. So I think that's the reason I attracted somebody. Like, it's not that the person was bad, but it didn't work out. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
that
yeah,
makes sense.
so that is when I connected with you guys, and again I started working on these things.
Right, right. Makes sense, Sonam. I totally get your story.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, how about others? Anything regarding this topic or whatever we have talked about till now. ठीक है. Or to add something to this, I don't have anything else to add to this. So in case you guys are struggling with something like this, you have any question or you want to share anything, we can take the conversation forward. क्योंकि और तो कुछ as such in terms of pointers or anything I don't have to share with you all. Akarma, anything that you have to share with everyone here? Any question that you want to ask people?
Mm, Nothing's coming to my mind right now. Oh, So, just wondering, like so many people have joined, तो कुछ तो reason रहेगा join करने का तो. हाँ, yes, Natasha, what?
Okay, so I started my healing journey with Anamify in January. I think I did the mind blocks in January, and उसके बाद I खुद से भी मैंने किया. I did it on my own, so I've done it till now. I've done it twice, and I did witness a lot of changes in the way I started viewing the world, and because of that, there was जो रेस्टलेसनेस रहता था मेरे लाइफ में पहले, दैट रेस्टलेस एनर्जी, दैट रियली इट रिड्यूस्ड टू अ ग्रेट एक्सटेंट. I started feeling grounded, and I also started doing the e-learning journeys and all that also further helped me. And so the journey was मतलब smoothly. I could see कि मैं progress कर रही हूँ, आगे बढ़ रही हूँ in this on this path. Then I recently I met someone, and like it was unexpected, but we kind of hit it off. And and then I thought, ki, okay, let me just be open about this. Things were going really fine, but I just felt that now that it's been some time into this, I see my old patterns kind of coming into the front, and so but I'm at a place where I can actually catch it. Like it's like I'm witnessing ki my old self is coming up, and these are the problems, and my new self that has probably learned some things is really trying to kind of communicate with my old self. I don't know if I'm making sense, but so वो एक थोड़ा सा like I'm at this point where वो थोड़ा सा old versus new में मैं थोड़ी सी stuck feel कर रही हूँ. uh, and so the main problem is again it's the attachment style wala ही issue मुझे लग रहा है. So as I said, the journey was
Can you give
going
me an
on.
example? Give me an example of what was showing up. What were you catching? मतलब, as an
So
example, just to
as I
understand.
as I started speaking to this person and we started connecting, and after a certain point, I realized कि अब मुझे डर लग रहा है, attachment से डर लग रहा है. So and obviously I communicated my state of mind to the person in front, and the person was pretty understanding and all of that. But yeah, so that has been like I was wondering कि भाई, if everything is really good in front of me, then uh, इतना डर क्यों लग रहा है, and how can I deal with it? So it
और वो
was.
पहले भी लगता था. अटैचमेंट से डर पहले भी लगता था.
So I did go through something. I mean, I'm separated, and my separation was turbulent. Uh, so वो थोड़ा सा, and it's been a few couple of months. It's been over 7 months or so since all of that happened, and I've been single for that period of time, and I've been working on myself and all of that. तो यस, पहले भी डर लगता था, लेकिन पहले इट वाज वर्स. पहले मतलब आई वुड कंप्लीटली लूज माई सेल्फ इन दिस सिचुएशन, एंड वो को डिपेंडेंसी लेवल पे आ जाता था. बट राइट नाउ व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इज, मुझे पता है कि मुझे I'm not, I don't want to be codependent, and I'm not even being, but that restlessness, I'm witnessing it at a lesser degree, which I used to witness earlier, but this time at a lesser degree, and I can catch it, and I know okay, this is the issue, and this is where I need to really
हम्म,
stop back and do something about this. So that is what is happening. So yeah.
ठीक है, ठीक है. I feel that this is quite natural,
Okay.
that you are going through. Why it's like this कि पहले healing journey करने से पहले you felt that, and you've experienced कि what does it mean. Now
Right.
after doing the healing journey, some shift has happened. लेकिन वो क्या है, वो shift अभी टेस्ट तो नहीं हुआ था फील्ड में.
Huh.
तो it was more like you self assessed कि I am feeling more grounded, I am feeling better and all that. तो
Right.
तो एक बार उसका टेस्ट होने की जरूरत तो है ही ना. और अगर
Okay.
टेस्ट हो रहा है और पहली बार टेस्ट दे रहे हो तो थोड़ी बटरफ्लाइज तो होंगी ही. सो थोड़ी uncertainty and all those kind of things is just natural.
Okay. Okay.
So I think once you go through this whole process one time, then it will integrate even more, because now you will have. अभी तक क्या था, हीलिंग जर्नी करने के बाद आपको एक थ्योरेटिकल कन्विक्शन थी कि आई विल नाउ हैंडल इट, आई विल नाउ बी एबल टू हैंडल इट,
Right.
है ना.
Huh.
प्रैक्टिकल तो हुआ नहीं था ना उसका कुछ. तो वो मतलब अभी भी वो सेल्फ के साथ ही एक एक काइंड ऑफ एक एक उस लेवल का कॉन्फिडेंस था कि हाँ, अब आई विल नॉट क्रैश एज मच, या अब उतना
Huh.
बुरा नहीं होगा, है ना.
Huh.
तो
Huh.
तो वो है, बट अब उसका टेस्ट होना बाकी है ना.
Huh.
तो अब ये टेस्ट होगा तो और ज्यादा वो कन्विक्शन स्ट्रांग होगी कि what you have been feeling and thinking कि it I will be able to handle it, then it will be handled. So या तो वो चीज होगी ही नहीं. So पहले क्या था कि insecure attachment style में we make up a lot of stories also in our mind which are not even true.
Right.
तो तो at least अभी by uh, by starting a conversation with this person and all that, at
Huh.
least क्या है कि वो एक लेवल कि वो इमेजिनेशन तो क्रॉस की है कि यू आर नॉट गेटिंग वरीड, या यू आर नॉट गेटिंग अफ्रेड ऑफ द सेल्फ टॉक.
Right.
पहले देर वॉज अ सेल्फ टॉक अबाउट अगर ये छोड़ देगा तो क्या होगा, अगर हम अटैच हो जाएंगे तो क्या होगा, ये होगा तो वो होगा. देर वॉज अ
Huh.
लॉट ऑफ सेल्फ टॉक दैट वॉज गोइंग ऑन बिफोर द हीलिंग जर्नी.
Right.
then you resolved a lot of that through that. अब इसका जब टेस्ट होगा तो आपको उसका रिजल्ट समझ में आएगा. बाकी ये आप उससे बात कर रहे हो और उसके साथ क्लियर कर रहे हो, कम्युनिकेट कर रहे हो, दैट इटसेल्फ इज शोइंग कि एक एक लेवल की ग्रोथ तो हो ही गई है कि यू आर नॉट just going by your fears, by your assumptions, by your imagination. So you are
Yes.
ready to test it by talking about it with the other person.
Right. That's true. I'm more openly communicating my feelings, which is something I never did, and I have the confidence to do it. So, and I'm okay, like with
And
myself.
you're also okay कि ये in whichever way it goes. मतलब जैसे क्या होता है ना कि पहले it may not be applicable to you, but कोई ऐसा भी हो सकता है ना जो जिसके दिल में कुछ डर है लेकिन वो बात नहीं कर रहे हैं क्योंकि उनको लगता है बात करने से what if this person gets angry or feels upset, या ये मेरे को ये सुन के छोड़ दे या कुछ ऐसा हो जाए, तो वो एक
Because,
डर बना रहता है ना. So
um,
at least now those things didn't occur to you. You were okay to take that risk.
right.
You were not bothered कि ये मुझे कैसे जज करेगा, अगर मैंने ये बात की तो ये कैसे मेरे को जज करेगा. तो you were able uh, to communicate it. So that itself is a growth in itself.
Yes, but I guess the journey, मतलब growth और होना बाकी है. So I guess I just have to keep at it.
हाँ हाँ, द रियल टेस्ट तो लाइफ में ही होता है ना. रियल टेस्ट तो अ, हमको हमको तभी पता चलता है व्हेन वी आर विद पीपल, वी आर इन दोस सिचुएशंस.
Right.
तभी हम बता सकते हैं कि हाँ, अब वो सिचुएशंस उतनी ट्रिगरिंग है या नहीं है, उतनी ज्यादा बॉदर कर रही है या नहीं कर रही है. और फिर
Okay.
क्या होता है कि एक बार हम उसमें से फिर से गुजर जाते हैं तो हम देख लेते हैं कि इतनी भी बड़ी बात नहीं थी जितनी मैं दिमाग में बना के चल रही थी. तो
हाँ
एक और लेवल की कन्विक्शन भी फिर आ जाती है, एक और लेवल का कॉन्फिडेंस भी आ जाता है कि इतनी बड़ी बात तो थी ही नहीं, मतलब आई वाज जस्ट ऑल दीज इयर्स आई वाज जस्ट मेकिंग, वो राई का पहाड़ बना के हम चल रहे थे।
हाँ, आई
वो
गेस
तो
इट्स ऑलवेज लाइक दैट। वो तो स्टोरीज तो दिमाग में ही होती हैं।
हाँ, हाँ दोस्तों, वो अब ये बातें हम लाइटली बोल सकते हैं या मजाक में भी बोल सकते हैं, और वी कैन लाफ अबाउट इट एज वेल, लेकिन उस मोड में, उस फेज में, उस टाइम में जब हम घुसे होते हैं, तब तो वो स्टोरीज हमारे लिए बहुत रियल होती हैं।
हाँ एग्जैक्टली, तब तो
उस
बहुत ही
टाइम
रियल
पे
और
तो
फियर भी रियल
उस
होता था।
टाइम पे तो फियर भी रियल है, वी आर वेरी सीरियस अबाउट इट एज वेल।
या
उस
या
टाइम पे तो इस इतने मजाक और इतनी लाइटली लेके तो आप बात नहीं कर पाते
नहीं
इस बारे
बिल्कुल।
में। और अगर कोई करता भी तो शायद उससे आपको काफी चिढ़ भी हो जाती है, यू वुड हैव फेल्ट कि somebody is trying to invalidate you and all that.
या एग्जैक्टली एग्जैक्टली, या दैट्स ट्रू।
Hmm. तो या गो हेड विद इट एंड सी हाउ थिंग्स गो, क्योंकि लाइफ में बिना टेस्ट के तो हमें नहीं पता चलेगा कि कितनी थ्योरी पढ़ ली, कितनी समझ में आ गई, कितने,
जी
ये टेस्ट ही है।
जी।
और कोई भी टेस्ट से पहले नर्वसनेस, वो सब तो होता ही है, चाहे कितनी भी तैयारी कर लो, कितना भी कुछ कर लो, टेस्ट से पहले थोड़ी बहुत तो बटरफ्लाइज, नर्वसनेस ये तो होती है, तो नेचुरल है।
ओके
ठीक है।
ठीक है।
तो मुझे नहीं लगता है कि कुछ इसमें कुछ और करने के लिए है, आई थिंक it's fine the way it is, it's fine, just go ahead with it and see how it goes.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
And in
Thank
fact, I will say a few things in your case, Natasha, whatever you have shared, that these are the exact symptoms that you are going in the right direction.
Okay,
ये
that's
यही होना चाहिए।
good.
हाँ, ये जो आपके साथ जो भी ये आप शेयर कर रहे हैं ना, यही होना चाहिए। First thing that you're able to catch yourself, right? So these pointers that Natasha shared are kind of like a checklist to, anybody who's doing here these kind of these kind of things. Um, Pehli cheez, like she shared that she's able to catch herself, right? Secondly, क्या कैसा होता है कि पहली चीज तो टेस्ट ही रियल लाइफ सिचुएशंस के साथ होता है, और दूसरी चीज, इसको दूसरे एंगल से भी हम एक देख सकते हैं कि लाइफ आपको टेस्ट करने के लिए ये सब चीजें भेजेंगी, सो दैट, लाइक आई वाज शेयरिंग, राइट, कि इन माय केस आई सी ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स एज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू गॉज, कि मैंने जो काम किया है वो सिर्फ मेरे माइंड के लेवल पे ही मैंने अज्यूम कर लिया हो गया, या वो एक्चुअली हो गया। और वो एक्चुअली हो गया मुझे तब पता चलता है, या ये पता चलता है कि शायद थोड़ा बचा हुआ है, तब when real life situations occur. That's the test, right? Which life will bring to you, and it's all of these tests. तो हम ना एक ये assumption से चलते हैं कि बस अभी मैंने ये काम कर लिया, चाहे वो किसी भी टाइप का काम हो, कि बस अब तो ये कोई सिचुएशन ऐसी आएगी नहीं, ये तो कोई प्रॉब्लम्स होंगी ही नहीं, दैट काइंड ऑफ एक्सपेक्टेशन दैट वी हैव, बट दैट्स नॉट what the whole point of doing this work was. The whole point of doing this work was to become capable enough, courageous enough, um, grounded enough to be ready to handle what life brings. और जब हम रेडी हो जाते हैं तो फिर फर्क नहीं पड़ता, राइट? एंड एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम वी जस्ट have a paradigm shift. We are completely in a different state, and we just start attracting different things. But वहां पहुंचने के लिए पहले we have to come to the space कि अगर ये दोनों चीजें आ भी गई ना, तो भी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, which is what Natasha was sharing, कि अभी uh, maybe the same things are happening, similar situations are happening, or maybe मतलब she has met somebody, and ये same situation में she might have thought differently, acted differently. Projection हम बहुत commonly करते हैं, but that projection, second point of the checklist is कि projection stops, right? Not stops as in कि मतलब 100% अभी stop हो जाएगा, I'm not talking about that, but the projection gets minimized a lot, right? Then the third thing is the at
it
the
does
emotional
get
level.
इट गेट्स रिड्यूस्ड। हमको हमको तो लास्ट से कंपेयर करना है कि पिछली बार और अब में क्या डिफरेंस है, उसमें देखना है। वी कैन नॉट जंप फ्रॉम वन एक्सट्रीम टू द अदर एक्सट्रीम। तो हम कुछ एब्सोल्यूट्स बना के यहाँ पे मेजर नहीं कर सकते कि एब्सोल्युटली मेरे को तो अब एक ही जंप में यहाँ पहुंच जाना चाहिए था। तो वैसा नहीं होगा। लास्ट लास्ट आपने कैसे डील किया था और अब कैसे डील कर रहे हो, इन दोनों के बीच में आपको क्या डिफरेंस दिख रहा है, दैट इज शोइंग द ग्रोथ। तो रिड्यूस तो होगा ही। या सॉरी, गो अहेड।
एब्सोल्युटली एब्सोल्युटली। सो हमें वो गैप देखना है, वो चेंज देखना है, शिफ्ट देखना है, एंड दैट्स व्हाट वी हैव टू कंटिन्यू फॉलोइंग, राइट? इट्स 100% चीजों का उल्टा सीधा होना और 80% चीजों का उल्टा सीधा होना, तो हम ये नहीं बोल सकते कि दोनों सिचुएशन में तो उल्टी सीधी चीजें हो गई। द पॉइंट इज कि पहले 100%, अब 80% हो गया है। The same thing goes for emotions, the same thing applies for thoughts, the same thing applies for reactions. And the third very important checklist, checkpoint for us कि अभी जैसे नताशा ने the words that she used कि वो जो restlessness थी वो भी कम हो गई है, right? So जो हम see the point is not कि अब ये emotions नहीं आएंगे. We have to understand that the body mind is nothing but an accumulation of all the past whatever. Okay? So ये body mind का accumulation है. अभी उसमें हमने जितना भी इकट्ठा किया है उसमें रेस्टलेसनेस हो सकती है, एंजाइटी हो सकता है, सैडनेस हो सकता है, गिल्ट हो सकता है, शेम हो सकता है, ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ नेगेटिव इमोशन, सब कुछ हो सकता है। वो होगा, अभी भी होगा, राइट? द ओनली डिफरेंस विल बी कि आपका उसको देखने का नजरिया बदल जाएगा। नाउ द वे यू लुक एट इट एंड द वे यू परसीव योर रेस्टलेसनेस, that itself will change. You will not punish yourself, criticize yourself, blame yourself कि ओहो हो फिर से ऐसा हो गया, ऐसे नहीं फील करना है, वैसे फील करना है। You start becoming more comfortable with all of these things, and the moment you bring into love and compassion and comfort and acceptance to these things, धीरे धीरे स्लोली स्लोली ये जो accumulation है ये भी धीरे धीरे डिसॉल्व हो जाता है, और एक टाइम ऐसा आ जाता है कि for certain things it just dissolves away. For different people could take different kind of time, right? Depend करता है कि कितना accumulation था, कैसा accumulation था, what kind of accumulation was there, the person what in what way they are doing the work, how aware they are, how they are, how much efforts are they making, what is their intention, हाउ करेजियस आर दे, ये सारे बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स होते हैं। तो ये इतनी फ्लूइड चीज है दैट माय जर्नी विल नॉट बी द सेम एज नताशास और सोनम और हरदे, यहाँ पे जितने भी लोग, हम सबकी अलग अलग टाइमलाइंस, अलग अलग जर्नीज हैं। सो देयर इज नो पॉइंट लिटरली टू कंपेयर एनी ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, बट द ओनली कंपैरिजन दैट वी कैन मेक इज विद आवर प्रीवियस काइंड ऑफ रिएक्शंस। और यहाँ पे अचानक से ये सारे इमोशंस नहीं डिसॉल्व हो जाएंगे, but the way you react to those, that will change. That is the paradigm shift, that is the difference, change in perspective and perception which you will observe. So that is the third checkpoint. So yeah, that was for you, Natasha. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you, Anamika. Thank you, Akarna.
Yeah, continue whatever you're doing, and through recordings or you continue.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Prerna, your hand is up. Want to share anything?
Hi, Karma. Hi, Anamika. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so I would like to share my journey on positivity, rather what I thought was positivity, but which was actually toxic positivity. तो मैंने ऐसा सोचा था that this is a race that I should start running and इसके एंड में मुझे ट्रॉफी मिलेगा of being the most positive person in my family and इन माई एंटायर जो पीढ़ी है, एंटायर जो हम लोगों का जनरेशन है, उसमें मैं ही सबसे पॉजिटिव डिसेंडेंट कहलाऊंगी मेरे पूरे फैमिली ट्री की। तो मैंने ऐसा सोच लिया था। तो आई वॉज रनिंग दिस रेस विद अ लॉट ऑफ सप्रेशन कि I'm not you know look at the bright side of things and look at the silver lining of things and everything happens for a reason. तो ऐसे ऐसे मैं रोज अपने आप को बोलती थी and I was just running this race and there was lot of suppression and because there was lot of suppression then that came with it had its own coping mechanisms. अब मुझे वो coping mechanisms coping नहीं लग रहा था, मुझे लग रहा था I am being positive by eating unhealthy food or by sometimes excessively working out because sometimes at the end of that workout session I was feeling more and more fatigued. I was not really feeling energized or fulfilled, but मुझे लग रहा था कि body goals and energy goals this and that, तो that was also some kind of coping mechanism. मैं चाहती थी कि मेरा energy जुम्बा करके या ये सब कुछ करके एग्जॉस्ट हो जाए ताकि फिर मैं मुझे सोचने का मौका नहीं मिले, तो सप्रेसिंग. And I was running the race and I was thinking कि I'm fine and everything is okay. पर अंदर ही अंदर मुझे लग रहा था कि दूसरे लोग मुझे सपोर्ट क्यों नहीं कर रहे. When the reality is I had not made space to even tell them what I was going through or what I was feeling. तो मुझे लगा कि they are not supporting me and I actually had not made space for myself. But मुझे लग रहा था कि others are not supporting me. तो ऐसे करके मैं थोड़ा विक्टिम भी फील कर रही थी. उसके बाद में when I started initially the unstuck workshop. So by the way, I have done unstuck 2 times. Once I did it in Jan and then again I did it, repeated it in August last year. So when I did unstuck the first time, um, so when I was running the race, I had only reached up to the point of suppression. कि मैं race भाग रही हूँ and सिर्फ suppression was the point that I had touched. But when I did the first time unstuck, I reached a second point जहाँ पे थोड़ा सा acceptance भी आ गया कि okay, these people are actually उनके हर journaling question में they are asking bring your negative emotions. They are discussing about masculine wounds and feminine wounds. And I remember in my batch, one lady had asked a question कि I have only positive to write about my mother, तो मैं क्या लिखूं? तो आई रिमेम्बर अकरमा टेलिंग कि आप डॉक्टर के पास जाके ये तो नहीं बोलोगे कि आपके आपके पेट में अगर दर्द है, पर डॉक्टर के पास जाके ये तो नहीं बोलेंगे कि मेरा हाथ तो अच्छा है, मेरा कान अच्छा है, मेरे आँख अच्छे है, तो व्हाट इज नॉट गुड यू विल टेल अबाउट दैट. तो चाइल्डहुड में भी आपको स्कैन करना है व्हाट इज नॉट गुड. तो आई वॉज कंप्लीटली शॉक्ड कि टिल देन जर्नलिंग आई वाज ओनली डूइंग फॉर पॉजिटिव थिंग्स कि ये लोग तो जर्नल करा रहे भाई, वो भी नेगेटिव नेगेटिव चीजों का. तो थोड़ा थोड़ा नेगेटिव चीजें स्टार्टेड कमिंग आउट एंड मेरे को लगा कि ओके, इट इज ओके टू टॉक अबाउट नेगेटिव थिंग्स. तो अब जिसको मैं एक्सेप्टेंस बोल रही थी वो एक्सेप्ट करने से कि आई एम फीलिंग दिस वे, आई स्टार्टेड फीलिंग गिल्टी. तो अब मेरे को लगने लगा कि एक्सेप्ट करने में तो मैं खुद को जज कर रही हूँ, सो सप्रेशन इज एनी डे बेटर. सो आई अगेन वेंट बैक टू सप्रेशन. So I was again swinging between suppressing it and then coming to the point of accepting it कि मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है पर ऐसा लग रहा है, but then I start feeling guilty कि पर मेरी लाइफ तो अच्छी है, मेरे को खाना खाने को मिल रहा है, मेरे सर के ऊपर छत है, my family is good, तो I'm not supposed to feel this way. तो अक्नॉलेजमेंट नहीं हो रहा था एक्चुअली कि लाइफ इज अ मिक्स ऑफ बोथ गुड एंड बैड एंड थिंग्स लाइक अक्नॉलेजमेंट नहीं हो रहा था. दैट that sort of a superficial acceptance was actually I don't know, I was judging. तो तभी भी मुश्किल हो रहा था. उसके बाद second time I did the unstuck again in the month of August and when I compared the things from my previous journey, अभी इस बार when I started running the race again, तो पहली बार I'm running the race, I reached a point of suppression, then coping mechanisms helped me to sustain the race. उसके बाद फिर से रेस भाग रही हूँ विद एक्सेप्टेंस. अगेन आई एम थिंकिंग कि एक्सेप्टेंस इज बिकमिंग टू हेवी, better go back to suppression. The second time I did unstuck, now I am again running the race with some sort of appreciation कि okay, this is the other side of life and ऐसा भी होता है, ये सब wounds है. तो अभी वो appreciate करके मैं भाग रही हूँ, लेकिन तभी भी प्रेशर है, वो भागने का प्रेशर है कि अब इसको लेके भागना है. And actually, then when I continued my healing journey and did the workshop 2 and the workshop 3, वो भागने का प्रेशर भी चला गया. एंड जब वो भागने का प्रेशर भी चला गया तो ये तीनों चीज एक्चुअली ना पूरे सर्कल में आ गया कि एक्सेप्ट करना है, एक्नॉलेज करना है एंड इसको अप्रिशिएट भी करना है. तब एक्चुअली आई वॉज एक्चुअली एबल टू सी द सिल्वर लाइनिंग ऑफ इट. वरना तब तक मैं बोल रही थी सिल्वर लाइनिंग एंड एवरीथिंग हैपेंस फॉर अ रीजन, बट वो सिंक इन नहीं हो रहा था. तो आफ्टर डूइंग द अप टू द हीलिंग माइंड ब्लॉक्स 3, एक्चुअली वो एक पॉजिटिविटी का जो रेस है, वो भागने का जो एक प्रेशर था, वो भी एक्चुअली कहीं ना कहीं ड्रॉप हो गया. तो नाउ इट्स लाइक देर आर डेज आई फील बैड, देर आर डेज जब पास्ट सताता है सब कुछ, एंड उसको मैं अलाउ करती हूँ, अब है तो है, एंड उसको मैं अलाउ करती हूँ, एंड मैं इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करती हूँ कि वाई दिस शोड अप, एंड व्हाट इज दिस ट्रिगर ट्राइंग टू टेल मी. एंड तो वो इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करती हूँ, तो अभी वो प्रेशर क्योंकि नहीं है, अब वाकई में वो एप्रिसिएशन वाला चीज जो है वो आ गया है. आई डोंट नो इफ इट मेक्स सेंस. ओवर टू यू गाइस.
Yeah, totally makes sense. And it's kind of funny, Prerna, कि हम word acceptance use करते हैं, and when we try to force acceptance, it's actually not acceptance, it's actually rejection. So yeah, yeah, cool. That was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Prerna. And I can all in all, step by step, relate to your story. Cool. Anybody else wants to share anything? Anything that you guys resonated with, in Prerna's story? ठीक है. Cool. Anybody wants to say anything or ask anything? Otherwise, we'll wrap up the call then for today. Cool. Okay then. Any of you here who has not taken the healing journey, the first 3 levels anywhere online, those of you who have done, are on always, invited to repeat it whenever you wish to with us live as well, and you have the recording as well. Those of you who have not yet done it, in case you get time, feel like you wish to explore this, you all are welcome to do the same as well. Cool then. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. We'll see you all in the next call. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good night,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you.